This community of care is created through our work and time together, our commitment to one another. This is our covenant, to walk together in loving fellowship, to share our hopes and values. As we pass these baskets, we thank you for your generous gifts, which support the work of this religious community and Unitarian Universalism in the world at large. As a reflection of our values, we are pleased to participate in the Change for Change program. The coins you place in the basket today will support the work of nonprofits in and around the Grand Valley. With gratitude, we will now receive today's offering. This congregation is a community of ourselves. Its energy and resources are our energy and resources. Its wealth is what we share. As we contribute to its life, we share our lives within it. Please join me in hymn number 1008 in the Teal hymnal, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place.
Blessed with all and amazing grace, when our heart is in I came across a reading a few years ago, and I've shared it before, but I'm going to share it again. It's I'm not sure exactly where I found it, but the author is Brian Piergrossi, and it's called A Spiritual Conspiracy. And I thought this might be a nice way to think about entering into the year 2025. On the surface of the world right now, there is war and violence, and things seem dark. But calmly and quietly at the same time, something else is happening underground. An inner revolution is taking place, and certain individuals are being called to a higher light. It is a silent revolution. From the inside out, from the ground up. This is a global operation, a spiritual conspiracy. There are sleeper cells in every nation on the planet. You won't see us on the TV. You won't read about us in the newspaper. You won't hear about us on the radio. We don't seek any glory. We don't wear any uniform. We come in all shapes and sizes, colors and styles. Most of us work anonymously. We are quietly working behind the scenes in every country and culture of the world. Cities big and small, mountains and valleys, and farms and villages, tribes and remote islands. You could pass by one of us on the street and not even notice. We go undercover. We remain behind the scenes. It is of no concern to us who takes the final credit, but simply that the work gets done. Occasionally, we spot each other in the street. We give a quiet nod and continue on our way. During the day, many of us pretend we have normal jobs, but behind the false storefront at night is where the real work takes place. Some call us the conscious army. We are slowly creating a new world with the power of our minds and hearts. We follow with passion and joy. Our orders come from an internal intelligence, dropping soft, secret love bombs when nobody is looking. Poems, hugs, music, photography, movies, kind words, smiles, meditation and prayer, dance, social activism, websites, blogs, random acts of kindness, releasing grudges, letting go of judgments. We each express ourselves in our own unique ways with our unique gifts and talents. Be the change you want to see in the world. That is the motto that fills our hearts. And we know it is the only way real transformation takes place. We know that quietly and humbly, we have the power of all the oceans combined. Our work is slow and meticulous, like the formation of the mountains. It is not even visible at first glance, and yet with it, entire tectonic plates shall be moved in the centuries to come. Love is the new religion of the 21st century. You don't have to be a highly educated person or have any exceptional knowledge to understand it. It comes from the intelligence of the heart, embedded in the timeless evolutionary pulse of all human beings. Be the change you want to see in the world. Nobody else can do it for you. We are now recruiting. Perhaps you will join us, or already have. All are welcome. The door is open. I thought that might be a nice way to start the year 2025 with the reminder that we individually and collectively have the power to create whatever type of community, whatever type of country, whatever type of world we want to see. I like the reminder that America, and I think this might be kind of an important reminder, America is not a top-down power system. And if we start telling ourselves that it is, or that we're powerless to be the kind of people that we want to be because other people who have more money than us are telling us what kind of human beings they are and recruiting people to not be kind or compassionate or think that money is the only type of power there is, then it might be kind of a scary year. But if we remind ourselves that money and financial wealth is only one type of power in a world that has so many other types of power, then we're really going to be okay. But it does require the invitation that we've been talking about this year is it requires us, every one of us, to start thinking in a new paradigm of what is it that we truly value? What is it that is most important? What is it that we hold within us when everything in the world seems like it just got stripped away? And for those of us in this room right now, this is a mental exercise. It's a heart exercise, but it's a mental exercise. But for millions of people throughout this country right now, and especially throughout the world, it's not a mental exercise. It's real. We're watching so many hundreds of thousands of people in California who this time last week were sitting here wherever in their faith communities, whatever they were doing in their jobs, just like us, with secure housing, with secure finances, with plenty of material possessions. And just like that, it's gone. In the blink of an eye, everything can change. And all of a sudden, the world stops, and what used to be our new normal is not that. I haven't lived through a hurricane that took away my home. I haven't lived through a tornado that totaled my house. I haven't lived through a wildfire that just took everything away. But I can't imagine what it feels like right now for the people in California who got out of the danger, who are safe, but all of a sudden they don't have a home to come home to, but they don't have a neighborhood to come home to. They don't have a community to go home to. And so those neighborhoods, those friendships, those relationships overnight are just scattered. And so what does that mean on a spiritual level? What was Robert Frost talking about when he says nothing gold can stay? Everything is flitting, or at least material possessions are flitting. They're here and then they're not. And when everything outside of us is stripped away, what remains? Who are we? Are we our clothes? Are we our hairstyle? Are we our homes? Are we our trucks or our transportation? What remains when everything is gone? And I don't know that I necessarily have an answer for you. These are more rhetorical questions. But I think it's helpful for those of us who aren't in the midst of it right now to think about this so that we can be the people who are strong and grounded and centered and can be those sources of strength and light for people who are at their lowest, because we're in a place that we can be that. And then someday that might be us. And we will need to look to other people who are grounded and centered and at their place of strength when we're at our lowest. And I think that's what true community is. That not everybody is always going through everything at the same time. But we're all moving through, and some of us are doing really well right now. And some of us may feel like we're at the lowest point that we've ever been. And even in this room right here, right now, I bet there's a continuum of every part of that. I bet in this room, there are some of us that are thinking, I don't know how I'm going to go on. And there are probably some of us that are thinking, life is really good for me right now, and I'm really grateful. And then we're everywhere in between. And so what does matter? What does last when the material possessions are gone? I remember, it's been almost 12 years now, I think, but when I was diagnosed with cancer about 12 years ago, my hair was about this long, and this may sound kind of weird, but when I, had gone to the doctor and the doctor said, you're going to have to go through chemo, there was just this little glimpse, and this might sound really weird, but there was just this little glimpse of me that was really joyful that I was going to lose all of my hair, because I would never have had the courage or, to go short or chop it all off or do anything wild and crazy with my hair. That would have been too scary to me. But the fact that I knew that it was going away and I didn't really have any choice about it, there was just this little, and no, I don't want to say that cancer is a good thing at all. I'm not saying that, but there was just this little part of me that was like, I get to reinvent myself. I get to now go through every single hairstyle as it grows back out, from hats to wigs to bald to whatever. And I wouldn't have given myself that gift without kind of being forced to. And I'm not saying that tragedy is great. I'm not saying that cancer is good or any health problems that we have. But we can always take the time to think about who we are, what remains, what is truly that gold in our lives, and what is it that identifies us, that transcends the space and the time and the material and the outer clothing. If this building went away tomorrow, who would we be? I can tell you that we wouldn't be, as Unitarian Universalists in this little congregation, UUCGV, I don't think we would change very much. We would be the same people doing the same thing with the same values without this space. But we would know who we are, because who we are as Unitarian Universalists are people who acknowledge the inherent worth and dignity of every person. And we do that regardless of how long our hair is, what kind of clothes we are, or what our building looks like. We respect the interdependent web of all existence, whether we're here in this building or outside with the kiddos offering hot chocolate. We recognize the free and responsible search for truth and meaning, whether I'm up here behind a pulpit or you guys are having individual conversations with each other about what your individual life experiences are. I don't think any of that would change if we didn't have this building. I think we would still have each other. I think we would still be a community. I think we would still be who we are in this valley. And what I hope is that who we are in this valley is a point of light for people who feel like they're walking through darkness. And we do that together. And that's an honor. It's a real honor. And I was thinking this morning as I was thinking about my sermon and what I was wanting to say, and I realized that something has shifted for me over the years. When I first started, preaching and being a minister, it was really important to me that I had my sermon written out ahead of time, that I knew what I was going to say, that I relied on that script. And this morning, what I realized was that what I look forward to now is just being here with all of you, regardless of what I'm planning to say. So for me, over the years, my ministry has changed from what am I saying and what am I doing to how am I being. And I think that might be that spiritual conspiracy that he was talking about. And especially in the next few weeks, in the next few months, if and when it feels like the people who have so much more money than us than we can even imagine are acting like they have more power than any of us can ever imagine. I want us to remember that spiritual conspiracy and the power, the true power of this valley, of this community, of this country is inside the hearts and the minds of every single citizen and every single one of us who get to say, I don't need to be manipulated by propaganda. I don't need to be scared by lies. I don't need to be triangulated and told by a billionaire that the person I need to be scared of is that person over there that's barely surviving. That's not my enemy. That's my friend. That's my ally. That's my fellow spiritual conspiracist. And if we can see each other that way, then I really do think we're going to be okay. And I believe that we have more power than we understand. And the exciting part is I think we have more power than those people out there understand, as long as we don't give it away. We can't give it away. We keep it for us so that we can share it with the people who need it. And right now, there are a lot of people in California and on the East Coast with the hurricanes and in the Middle East, in Gaza, and all over the world who need it. And I may have shared this before, but the analogy that I kind of like when it comes to power, and especially with collective spiritual awakening, it's not a powerful spiritual awakening is not top down. It is little, it's like grass. And grass pops up everywhere. And you can't really, a top-down power can't get rid of all the grass. And so that's how I think of us, is that we're just little blades of grass. And we're popping up everywhere. We're getting into who we are with our hearts. And we are taking the power that we need to see this year. And so it's going to be an interesting year. We are probably not going to like all the headlines that we see. There will be people that think that they have the power to do whatever they want. And it's going to be with all of us to remember that no. In fact, the power is here. The power is in our hearts. The power is in our minds. The power is in who we decide to be as human beings, as citizens, as Americans. And then we look at each other and we extend that hand of friendship and we work together to create what we want our world to look like. So with that, I think we'll just go ahead and sing. In your teal hymnal, number 1026, If Every Woman in the World. extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Go your way in peace. Wander as you may. Blessed is the path you take. May love guide you on your way.
Go now in peace. Amen.
Amen.